Mysteries wait in the darkness. Who knows what power lies beneath the mind?
Someone's coming.
Who knows what terrors prowl in the underworld? The Shadow knows. An ancient evil returns.
Oh my God.
And the only hope is
Lamont Cranston.
there is one face he shows the world, and the other he hides in shadow.
I do what I do to fight back the evil inside me, but some part of it is still there.
A mysterious woman shares his powers.
I've always had this feeling that there was this man out there just waiting for me.
And a secret army is at his command.
Report.
Police investigation of murder. Agent advises inquiry.
Extra, extra! Madman threats to blow the city sky high!
You are a barbarian.
We both are. Inside you beats a heart of darkness.
I guess you call it an implosive, explosive submolecular device.
Or an atomic bomb.
Hey, that's catchy.
Join me. I know who you really are.
Alec Baldwin,
You want to see into my eyes?
I'm not afraid of you.
John Lone,
Find him and kill him.
Penelope Ann Miller, and Tim Curry. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows.
So this is, of course, The Shadow, starring Alec Baldwin as the role of Lamont Cranston, of course, based off of the pulp comic book of the 1930s. And at the time, it was not seen as a big hit. It was a mostly mixed bag. It got mixed reviews, but it was seen as a commercial failure. But it was one of those movies that I remember mostly because of that marketing campaign. And even though I didn't see the movie for a long period after that, it took me about almost 20 years before I actually saw this movie for the first time. And, you know, honestly, after all these years, I actually kind of enjoyed this movie. I think it's a very unique, stylized movie for its time. It's definitely got a lot of flaws to it. It's definitely not one of the best superhero movies that came out at the time. But then again, superhero movies, comic book movies in general, they just weren't as good as they've become today. They didn't have that spark that they had today. But I mean, it's a pretty good movie. I like the visual style of it. I think Alec Baldwin fits this role very well as Lamont Cranston. I like John Lone as the villain in this. Got a great cast. It also includes Penelope Ann Miller, Peter Boyle, Ian McKellen, Jonathan Winters, Tim Curry. Just a great cast overall. Especially considering that this came from the director of Highlander. This is a much better movie than Highlander 2: The Quickening was. And honestly, it's up there with probably his best movies. I mean, this is a really solid film that is an enjoyable ride. It's an enjoyable summer popcorn flick. And I think if you go into it like that, don't go in there expecting like a masterpiece or something like on the levels of something like The Dark Knight or The Batman or anything like the best superhero movies out there. If you go into it with a note that it is essentially a modern film noir based off of a pulp comic from the 30s, you go in there and you actually get what you get in here. It's a very good film, very visually pleasing, a good performance by Alec Baldwin, some good action overall. It's a pretty good film. I think it deserves a lot more attention than I think it is. I mean, it deserves a little bit more praise than I think it got back then. I'm glad to see that it has somewhat of a following that's been established over the years, because it really is a movie that is very well done for the most part. Not a classic by any means, but I really enjoyed the film a lot. So that's The Shadow. Let's move on to the next movie, and that is Jeff Bridges and Tommy Lee Jones in Blown Away. let Tommy Lee Jones's terrible Irish accent set the tone for how bad this movie is. This is a really bad movie. It's really, really, really bad. I mean, let me put it this way. Speed came out a couple of weeks later, and this movie came out, has a very similar premise to it, has a much older actor as the hero than Keanu Reeves and Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges is a great actor, but he really couldn't save this movie, and this movie just really is just... Talk about bad timing to put this out at the same time as Speed, because Speed is the far superior movie. This movie is just terrible. It's just a lousy, lousy movie. From those accents of the Irish people, of the people who are playing Irish characters in this, the drops and the explosives are not that good either. They're not even that exciting whatsoever. You got a woman who's forced to keep typing a specific number of words. If she doesn't, the thing blows up. You got Jeff Bridges' father, Lloyd Bridges, in here playing somebody who gets caught in a trap looking completely ridiculous. This is one of the most ridiculous looking things they've ever made Lloyd Bridges do, and Lloyd Bridges has done some crazy things before. Like, this is a role where he's supposed to be taken seriously, and I'm laughing more here than I was in Hot Shots. Like, I took him more seriously in the Hot Shots movies than I do in this movie. It's just like, what were they thinking when they made this movie? It's just a bad film on so many levels. It's not enjoyable. The traps aren't that exciting. The villain is not a very good villain. Just a waste of talent on all levels in this movie. This is a terrible, terrible movie. One of the worst movies to come out of 1994, and it definitely shows. Like I said, watch Speed. It's the much better movie. Blown Away is just complete garbage, and that's pretty much all I got to say about that one. So let's move on to the next movie, a movie that has a lot of problems to it as well. Julia Roberts and Nick Nolte in the romantic comedy, action comedy, I Love Trouble.
She's a rookie reporter. He's an award-winning newsman.
Where you from, Peterson?
Look, I realize every club reporter in the skirt must go gaga at the great bracket approaching them. You have zero chance of scoring here. Trust me. Move on.
I'm sorry, where did you say you're from? Bitchville?
Two big city rivals.
Delivery for Mr. Brackett.
Oh, by the way, I never did thank you for the money.
Oh, you're very welcome. I hope you named him after me.
I certainly did. Yeah, I've grown real attached to Little Dink.
Covering the same big story.
The train crashes, the son dies, and the briefcase is stolen.
And the closer they get to the truth,
The kid who stole it is murdered, but before he dies, he writes the initials LD on his palm.
the more they'll need each other to stay alive.
Somebody's trying to kill us over a cow hormone?
Is that what you think, Brackett?
Is that what you think, Peterson? Tell me if you think we're in some kind of trouble here.
I think we're in some kind of trouble here.
Hang on, Peterson!
Julia Roberts,
Stay there, I'll shoot.
I don't think so.
Think again.
Nick Nolte.
Put your seatbelt on, Peterson!
I Love Trouble, a Nancy Meyers Charles Shire film.
Honey, we've been rescued.
Again, kind of like Blown Away, you can kind of see what the problem is with I Love Trouble right off the bat. It really doesn't know what the hell they're trying to sell to you. Like, you got Julie Roberts and Nick Nolte playing the couple and playing the two love interests in this. They sell this as kind of like a romantic comedy / crime film at the beginning, but when you watch the TV commercials for this, they really don't know what angle they want to sell this to. Do they want to sell this as a comedy? Do they want to sell this as an action movie? Do they want to sell this as a thriller? Like, I can't put all of them on here because, of course, YouTube copyright concerns, but when you watch those commercials, you really can't tell what the hell they're trying to sell you, and I think that's part of the problem with the movie. The movie doesn't even know what it wants to sell you on. This is Nancy Meyers and Charles Shire, who had done Father of the Bride. They did Irreconcilable Differences. They did Baby Boom, and they've done these movies in the past, and this just feels like something that's completely out of their jurisdiction, like something like they didn't really know what to do with. Like, I think this was just a bad idea by both of them to do this. It's just like, I really don't know what the hell they were trying to sell this movie as, and I think the movie's biggest problem is that it can't figure out what it wants to be. Does it want to be taken seriously? Does it want to be more comedic? Does it really know what it's trying to sell you, or is it just trying to sell the name Julia Roberts and Nick Nolte? And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's a film that just is all over the place. It isn't even that. It's not really that funny. There's not a good action aspect to it. The thriller aspect is not very interesting whatsoever. The antagonist in the movie is not very interesting. It's just a movie that fails on so many levels, and it's just like, I don't know what the hell they were thinking with this movie when they were putting it together. So that's I Love Trouble for you. Another one of the year's worst movies. Let's move on to the next movie, and a much more enjoyable movie, at least in my opinion, and that is Baby's Day Out.
He was Mommy's little angel.
Baby Bink is not a regular baby.
And Daddy's pride and joy.
Bye-bye. Whoa, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
But Baby Bink was born. So when the big city called, Baby Bink had to answer. 20th Century Fox invites you to see the world through the eyes of a child. Now he's off on an adventure.
Our sources tell us that a baby boy got up and crawled away from his home this morning.
The family has offered a reward of $5 million.
Baby tracks.
Babies are obviously more dangerous than we thought. I see him. What? He's in the big brown's purse. Eddie, he's getting up. Step on it, Eddie. Baby, starboard side.
You know anything about that vehicle?
Yes, it belongs to us.
You left the engine running.
I've been having battery trouble. Just stopped by to admire the beautiful... Ow! Word. Where'd he go? I'll grab him as he goes by. There he is. Baby luck. On his way. Hey, quit fooling around.
From John Hughes, the creator of Home Alone.
I live.
Baby's Day Out. Directed by Patrick Reed Johnson.
You know, sometimes it's okay to enjoy really silly movies and stupid films. And this is one of those exceptions. I remember I used to watch this movie a lot as a kid. I used to have the videotape for this, and then when I finally got on the DVD many years later when I grew up as an adult, I went back to it and I realized that, yes, it's an incredibly stupid movie. Yes, it's not really all that inventive. It's not really all that exciting. The trailer pretty much lies to you to make you think that, oh, these guys are actually people who are trying to find this baby. But no, that's not the story whatsoever. These guys are basically criminals a la Home Alone's Harry and Marv, and Baby Bake is pretty much this movie's Kevin McAllister because he keeps getting into these situations where the criminals will actually get into these different traps, and not even traps, just like these unfortunate circumstances. It's like a live-action Looney Tunes cartoon, honestly, and like I said, it's not an intelligent movie whatsoever, but you know what? I love the hell out of this movie, and even as an adult, I can still go back to this movie and be like, you know what? It's stupid, but you know what? I'm having a ton of fun watching this movie. This is a movie that it's held up very well. Like, I can't help but laugh at some of these ridiculously silly situations. And it's just like, it's hilarious. It's hilarious to watch these situations and watch the elements of comedy that they're throwing here. Like I said, it's like watching a live-action Looney Tunes cartoon in a way. And it's not done the best. It's not done very well, but at the same time, I'm just laughing at how silly and ridiculous this whole thing gets. And like I said, it's silly, it's stupid, but I love the hell out of this movie. I really do love this movie so much. I go back to watch this movie every once in a while, not all the time, but every time I do, man, every time I go back to it, I'm just like, I'm having a good time with it. I'm laughing a lot. I know it's stupid. I know it's ridiculous, but at the same time, there's nothing wrong with liking stupid and ridiculous stuff. In a way, this is kind of a guilty pleasure for me. And, I mean, honestly, I've liked it a lot better than some of the other John Hughes movies he's written at this point, but, in between the Home Alone movies, I should say, not all together, but, yeah, like I said, not a good movie overall, but it's a fun, silly, stupid movie. I can't help but enjoy it. And I guess it is one of my guilty pleasure movies. It's a movie I can go back to and just to have a good laugh at, and I'm really enjoying the hell out of it. So there you go. That's Baby's Day Out. Let's move on to the last movie that we have here, which is Little Big League.
Billy, if you're watching this tape, I guess I'm dead. I'm sorry. Billy, you're my best friend in the world. And I want you to have my very favorite thing, the Minnesota Twins.
When my grandpa died, all I got was a sweat.
First of all, I'd just like to say this is really cool.
You mean you own the team and the stadium? Can I borrow $5?
I would like to announce that I've named myself the new manager of the Minnesota Twins.
Go away.
Billy, it's not that easy. There's a lot to this game. A lot.
You know how hard it is to manage? It's the American League. They got the DH. How hard could it be?
I gotta go over all this paperwork.
Wow, you sound like my dad. Could I, have your autograph? Wow, Sheldon Horgable. What a babe.
Mom, come on. The guys are watching.
Nobody's watching.
We're not going to win anything with a kid for manager.
Now, why don't you go home and build yourself a fort or something?
I know you guys think I'm a joke.
Put me in there, I can throw strikes.
Maybe I'm not the problem. Maybe the problem is you guys forgot how much fun this is. You're major leaguers. Don't you understand? You guys get to play baseball every day. It could be better.
Castle Rock Entertainment is proud to present Little Big League.
Baseball was made for kids. Just go out and play and have fun.
I hate fun.
So here you got one of these movies that on paper kind of sounds like a generic family film. Doesn't sound like anything too investing or too exciting, but you know, when you really look at it, as you actually see the film, like I did about 20 years after this movie came out, it was one of those little surprises. It's a movie that kind of takes you by surprise by the story. It doesn't go the typical family film route. There are things about it that are kind of enjoyable, even for somebody that doesn't like baseball all that much. I'm not really a baseball type of person, but I really enjoyed this film. I thought this was a movie that was pretty good. It didn't dumb itself down strictly for children. It felt like a movie that both parents and kids can really get invested in. And it's a pretty entertaining film. It's a film that has a lot more to it than I think a lot of people give it credit for. It knows how to mixes the comedy and the heavier moments enough to where it doesn't feel like it's forcing it on you. The casting overall is very well done. You get some notable names in here, including Tim Busfield from 30-something, John Astin, Kevin Dunn, Jonathan Silverman, Dennis Farina, Jason Robards as the grandfather. Some notable MLB players. Ken Griffey Jr. is in here. Lou Piniella. Who else is here? Randy Johnson. Dave Madigan. Tim Raines. Chris Berman is in here. And it's just an entertaining little film. It doesn't do anything groundbreaking, but it never feels like it's a movie we've seen done over and over. And it doesn't feel like it's pandering down to people. It's a film you can get really invested in. It's a very interesting story. It's a ton of fun to watch. It's a little gem that I found very late on, and I'm glad I kind of found it. It's a movie that I think deserves a lot more attention, and I'd say definitely check it out if you can find it. Little Big League. You might actually be really surprised when you see it.
Hello, my name's Forrest Gump. Would you like a chocolate?
Oh, thank you.
It's funny what a young man recollects.
You're the same as everybody else. You are no different.
Your boy's different.
Are you stupid or something? Mama says stupid is as stupid does. I'm Jenny.
I'm Forrest Gump.
She was my most special friend. My only friend. We was together all the time. We was like peas and carrots, Jenny and I.
Run, Forrest! Hey, stupid, run!
Now, you wouldn't believe it if I told you, but I can run like the wind blows.
Who in the hell is that?
Now, there's Forrest Gump, Coach. Just a local idiot. I never thought it would take me anywhere. They even put me on a thing called the All-America team, where you get to meet the President of the United States.
Congratulations. How does it feel to be an All-American?
I got a day.
I believe he said he had to go pee.
Now, maybe it's just me, but college was very confusing times.
Have you ever been with a girl, Forrest?
I sit next to them in my home economics class all the time.
Have you given any thought to your future?
Go! What's your sole purpose in this army?
To do whatever you tell me, drill sergeant?
You're a damn genius. You are going to be a general someday, Gump.
Yes, drill sergeant! They sending me to Vietnam.
Sonny, promise me something, okay? If you're ever in trouble, don't try to be brave. You just run, okay?
Okay. Where you boys from in the world?
Alabama, sir.
You twins? No, we are not relations, sir. For some reason, when I was doing seemed to make sense to people.
Forget about me! Get yourself out!
Been awarded the Medal of Honor. How come? Now, my mama's always telling me how miracles happen every day. Some people don't think so.
Jenny!
But they do. You can come home with me to my house in Greenbow. I'll take care of you.
Why are you so good to me?
You're my girl.
Paramount Pictures presents Tom Hanks.
I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is.
Robin Wright.
Will you marry me? I'd make a good husband, Jenny.
You would, Forrest.
But you won't marry me.
Gary Sinise.
I never thanked you for saving my life.
And Sally Field.
My boy Forrest is going to get the same opportunities as everyone else.
A film by Robert Zemeckis.
What's my destiny, Mom?
You're going to have to figure that out for yourself.
The world will never seem the same once you've seen it through the eyes of Forrest Gump.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
The trailer was almost as long as the movie itself was, but yeah, that was a long trailer, and you could say that it gave away a lot of the movie, but you know what, the movie ended up being pretty damn good. Not just damn good, but one of the year's best movies. This is one of those Best Picture winners where I think the Academy got it right. I mean, there was a lot of good movies that came out in 1994, and this was one of those movies where it was nominated, and if it would have won, I think a lot of people wouldn't have minded because they really loved it. And it did, and it eventually has held on over the last 30 years. It's a movie that is one of Robert Zemeckis' best movies. I mean, you could definitely see the ambition that's in this movie and the way that he uses the visual effects in here to incorporate Tom Hanks into this archival footage where he's hanging out with John F. Kennedy, Dwight D. Eisenhower, Richard Nixon. I mean, this is some pretty good visual effects that still hold up very well almost 30 years later, especially when you compare to what Robert Zemeckis has been doing lately. But, I mean, honestly, there's really not a whole lot you can really say about this movie that hasn't been said. But I'll try to say some stuff. For one thing, this is one of those movies where this differs heavily from the book that it's based off of, where the book has actually been known to be pretty terrible. I've never read it before, but everybody I talk to, whenever I see people talk about the books and tell people about the book, says the book is not very good. And so The movie did a pretty good job, I'm assuming, of updating the story a lot more. And it really works because of Tom Hanks' perfection to this performance. I mean, he's really giving it his all in this movie. Giving a very solid performance, a very earnest performance. It doesn't feel like he's forcing this role to be an Oscar baitish type of performance. He's giving an earnest, honest performance, and it definitely shows. He has to play this character through several different decades, different pieces of life, and how the way the world has been going, like going from the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s to today. And he does a pretty good job. I don't think it's one of his greatest performances overall. Like when I think of great Tom Hanks performances, I think of stuff like Castaway, which is another Robert Zemeckis film. The movie he did prior to this, Philadelphia, is a great movie. Big. This is definitely up there, though. This is definitely up in the top five performances of his. And he's got a great cast to work with. I mean, you got Robin Wright Penn, Gary Sinise, Micheletti Williamson, Sally Field. Just a phenomenal cast involved here, and everybody is given these great performances that are making it work to a T. And it's just a solid epic film. It's a modern epic film. Like, it doesn't have the same kind of epic. It's not an epic in the way of something like Spartacus or Lawrence of Arabia, those movies, but it's a different kind of epic story. It's kind of a reminiscence of something like maybe Citizen Kane, where it's epic, but it doesn't feel like it's being overbloated or too much for you. Like, you're really invested throughout the course of this movie. There's not a whole lot of dull spots in here, and you just really get involved with it, and it makes you think. It's a movie that really makes you think. It's a movie that really makes you evaluate things about it. There's a lot of interpretations you can make with it. It's a movie that keeps you guessing as it goes along. Like how is this movie transpiring? Like, how is this movie going to end with him reflecting on this life? Like, what's the main purpose of it? And when it gets to that main purpose, it works out really well. It's a movie that I think really, really has held up very well over the test of time. It's a movie that I definitely could see why it won Best Picture. It's definitely a movie that captured a lot of people's hearts, captured a lot of people's thoughts about the world, captured a lot of people's ambitions, interests, interpretations. It's just a solid film on so many levels, and really, I don't really think I can add any more to it that hasn't really been said already about this film. It's a classic film for a number of reasons. It's a movie you can go back to any time and get really invested in it. It's one of Robert Zemeckis' best movies overall. This was right at his peak as a filmmaker, and it just holds up all these many years later. The great music, the great score, the great soundtrack, the great acting, the great writing, the great visual effects. It's just a solid film that just keeps you invested all throughout the course of the film, and it's just an amazing movie. I can't recommend it enough. Forrest Gump, you should have seen it by now. If you haven't, go out there and see it, man, because you are missing out on something very, very special.
Tell us about your husband, Mrs. Tasker.
Harry? What can I say about Harry? He's a sales rep for a computer company. My husband is a good man.
So you think he's boring?
Well, maybe a little.
Sorry about this.
Of course, this movie was a big deal for a number of reasons. Of course, James Cameron, coming off of the success of Terminator 2. More importantly, for Arnold Schwarzenegger, it was a huge step in the right direction following last year's failure that was Last Action Hero, which it wasn't a bad movie, but it certainly was a huge financial failure. But then again, you open it on a weekend after Jurassic Park, that's going to happen. But this time around, this turned out to be a much bigger success, and it is a great movie, too. Arnold Schwarzenegger's great in this. Jamie Lee Curtis. These two have a good connection playing the husband and wife in this. You got a great cast. Also includes Tom Arnold, Tia Carrere from Wayne's World, Bill Paxton, Elijah Dushku in one of her early roles, Charlton Heston, Grant Heslov. Of course, went on to produce many films with George Clooney. It's just a fun movie, man. It's a movie that has just so much there that's great. The action is spectacular. The elements of comedy meshed in there. It's very good. The visual effects are very nicely done. This is actually the first movie that cost $100 million to make, which is hard to believe, especially when you consider Jurassic Park had come out the year before. But this was the first one that cost $100 million to make, which is really something to say after almost 30 years. And I mean, it's really just a ton of fun all around. It's a film that you can go back to every year or so, watch it again, and you'll never get really disappointed by it, because it just has that lasting power. It's a film that's so much fun to watch. It was a great summer movie that just still holds up after all these years. And it's hard to believe that they've never put this out on Blu-ray. This is one of those movies that we've been waiting for a proper Blu-ray release, and it's just never come. And the only way you've been able to get it is through not really bootleg copies, but like burn-on-demand copies. Like I have one that I got a couple of years ago that was a burn-on-demand from Sneaky Tuna, which actually looks pretty nice considering it is a burn-on-demand title. But apparently there's one coming. As of the day I'm recording this, January 12th, 2023, there's a new TV series coming out, and supposedly there's a 4K version of this coming out soon. So keep your fingers crossed, and maybe we'll actually have it. But like I said, True Lies, great movie, and one of James Cameron's best movies, honestly. It's a movie that I can keep going back to, never get tired of it, just a fantastic film all around. So that's True Lies. Let's move on to the next movie. That movie is Disney's Angels in the Outfield.
Dad, when are we gonna be a family again?
A boy searching for a future. I'd say when the Angels win the pennant.
And Williams and Norton collide, and the catch is blown.
A coach running from his past.
Are you cracking up, or is this a repeat of Cincinnati?
No, it's nothing like that. And a team that's their only prayer.
There's a thing called talent.
They don't have it.
God, if there is a God, maybe you could help him win a little. I'd really, really like a family.
Ben Williams makes a miraculous catch.
Holy cow!
How do you do that?
Two angels came out of the sky and they picked up Ben Williams.
Great. A psycho kid. Oh, please, don't drink me. No. Just call me Al. No one can see me or hear me but you.
Do you believe in angels?
Yes! That must have been those chili dogs I ate before again.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
You really do see something, don't you?
Yeah.
Make some kind of signal.
I'll go like that, okay? Here we go again.
That's the game.
You believe there's real angels?
I know it sounds crazy.
I'm relieving you of your management responsibilities.
Somewhere between losing hope. You can't go through life thinking everyone you meet will one day let you down. And finding the courage. You can call it angels.
I won't play for anyone but George Knox.
You can call it faith.
That goes for me, too.
You can call it whatever you like. They gave the world something to believe in.
I got nothing left.
You got an angel with you right now. Danny Glover. Tony Danza.
Even though you can't see us.
And Christopher Lloyd.
Always watching.
Disney's Angels in the Outfield.
If you think this movie doesn't make a whole lot of sense, wait until you hear the plot of the original 1950s Angels in the Outfield. It was about a young woman reporter who blames the Pittsburgh Pirates' losing streak on their abusive manager, who begins hearing the voice of an angel promising to help the team if he changes his ways. And yeah, when you really think about that, the original movie did not have a very good plot to it. And this one is not that bad, but it's not that great either. I mean, it's funny that we have all these baseball movies coming out, and then around the time that this came out, the big baseball strike happened where they didn't play baseball for over a year, and kind of awkward then, but sadly this movie does not hold up as well as I thought it would. I remember seeing this trailer all over the place when I used to get all the Disney videotapes back then. I mean, they were proud of this movie. They were really looking at this movie and thinking that, okay, we've got something great here, and honestly, I just don't really get it. I mean, I guess for nostalgic sakes, it's not a terrible movie, and honestly, compared to what Disney would do later on down the rest of the 90s with their 90s live-action films, those are much worse, but, I mean, everybody's fine in this movie. You got a young Joseph Gordon-Levitt playing the kid in this. Danny Glover's playing the manager in this. Tony Danza's very good in here. I actually got a copy of this movie autographed by Tony Danza when he was here at Steel City Con a few years ago. Christopher Lloyd seems like he's having a good time here. You get to see the early glimpses into the careers of people like Adrian Brody, Neil McDonough, Matthew McConaughey. Everybody's fine in this. There are a couple funny little one-liners here and there. There is a great moment in the beginning when the baseball players are talking about how they keep throwing the game away, and Danny Glover just loses his mind at them. That's probably my favorite scene in the movie because it's the one I always go back to, especially. I live in Pittsburgh, and the Pirates are one of the worst teams in baseball, and that's the one I always go. That's the clip I always go back to whenever they give a game away, and so maybe there is some more stuff here that I actually remember about this movie that I like. I mean, the visuals are fine for the time period. They work for what they're supposed to do. I mean, the overall story is kind of ridiculous. You can see how Disney's trying to add that whimsical and magical factor to this, and it's kind of lazy here. But like I said, going back to it many years after I wrote my initial review for this movie, I will admit that it's a little bit better than I remember it, but it's still not something I would say is a great movie. I mean, for the task that it had to do, trying to modernize the story for a new generation, I don't think it did the best job of it. But seeing as how there's some far worse movies that Disney made in the 90s that are really bad movies, this is the least bad that I remember. It's not a great movie, but I'll give it credit though. The more I think about it, I don't hate this movie as much as I thought I did. I mean, it's kind of one of those movies that kind of goes back and forth with me. Some parts of it I like, some parts of it I don't like. It just really doesn't feel. There's just not really a solid place in the middle where I feel like I could say that this is a great movie. I will say it's just an okay movie. It's an okay movie for what it is. It could have easily been a whole lot better, but I mean, like I said, I would rather take this than stuff like Mr. Magoo, Meet the Deedles, That Darn Cat, some of these other terrible 90s Disney movies that we got at the time. So I don't know. Maybe I was a little bit maybe I was a little bit more harsh than I should have been on this. But still, though, Angels in the Outfield, it's a meh kind of movie. It's one I go back to every once in a while, but it's not something I really want to say is a great movie overall. That's pretty much all I got to say about that one. So let's move on to the next movie, and that is David O. Russell's feature film debut, which is Spanking the Monkey.
If you're bored, why don't you call some friends? I don't have any friends around here. Sure you do. What about Mara O'Connell? Why should I call her? Didn't you sleep with her last year?
Look, she just got out of the hospital. Who's going to take care of her?
Well, there's got to be somebody.
It's not the end of the world.
Think I'm gaining weight? No. It's a bad time.
Why can't I come to your house?
She's a little young for you, isn't she?
I know.
Shouldn't you be at home studying for the SATs or something?
It's, the dog. He's got a gum condition. Once a week, okay? All I ask is that you take care of your mother. Is that so hard?
Taking good care of your mother, Raymond?
Raymond!
Good morning.
Raymond, please!
Hamburgers are ready. Come on, before they get cold.
Can I do anything around here?
We've talked about David O. Russell's work in the past. I wasn't too very kind of his previous of this film that just came out, Amsterdam, which I thought was a terrible movie. Honestly, after Silver Linings Playbook, I think his career kind of dampened a little bit, but there were some good movies, and I've seen almost every one of them, except for a couple of them, Accidental Love and this movie, which is the first movie he did as a filmmaker that kind of got his name out there, and that trailer doesn't really say a whole lot, but then again, it's one of David O. Russell's earlier movies. He was known to have this kind of quirk with his comedies, and I don't know, I kind of see it in there. I need to see the movie for myself to really be sure, but I mean, as far as I know, it could be good, but like I said, I don't really have too much more to say about it because it's one of the few David O. Russell films that I have not seen. So, I mean, I'll honestly say it's something that I haven't seen, but maybe one day I'll definitely check it out just to complete the filmography. But so yeah, Spanking the Monkey. Let's move on to a movie that I have seen. It's the re-release, I believe it was the 30th anniversary re-release of Stanley Kubrick's classic war film, Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb.
Attack!
Russia. Oh. Base.
10 females to each male.
Kill machine. Fluids. The Doomsday Machine. Blast off! Where's my shorts? Where's the bathroom?
Buck, should I get it?
On the hotline. Dr. Strangelove. Or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and
Love the bomb. A moving picture.
I first became aware of it, Mandrake, during the physical act of love.
The trailers for this were very clever. They were so different. They were so unique and so just of the time period. Like, not even of the time period. Something very different and something very strange. Like, you really didn't get a good sense of what this movie was back then. I would assume you didn't get a sense back then. Obviously, I wasn't alive back then. But, yeah, that's it. Those were pretty good trailers back then. They really gave you a good idea of what to expect, but they didn't really spoil all the big moments for you, which is something that they could have easily done with something like this. But I mean, Dr. Strangelove, man, what else more do you have to say about it? It's the greatest political satire of all time. Don't Look Up, go fuck yourself. This is This is how you do a good political satire. This is a friggin' amazing movie, man. I mean, this is such a great film. Directed and written by Stanley Kubrick, one of his best films, featuring a phenomenal cast that includes Peter Sellers, George C. Scott, Sterling Hayden, Keenan Wynn, Slim Pickens, James Earl Jones in one of his earliest film roles, in fact, in his first film role, and just a very stylistic-looking film. This is so unique and different for the time period of 1964. The War Room looks so intense, but also kind of over the top, and it's just a fun movie, man. It's a movie that you can go back to so many times, and it remains one of the most. It's one of those movies that just remains so topical and so satirical, even all these years later, 60 years later. This still remains one of the smartest war comedies you will ever see. It's just such a great movie, man. I mean, so many classic moments there. Is the guy riding the bomb down as it explodes. Like, that's a classic scene. Peter Sellers is hilarious in this movie. Just the writing overall is perfect. It's top notch. There's a lot of interesting stories I've heard about this movie. Specifically, one that kind of makes sense, because they actually were going to do this on test screening on November 22nd, 1963, and of course that was the day that JFK was assassinated, and the film was just weeks away from its scheduled premiere, so they had to push that back as they thought the public would be in no mood for such a film any sooner. And they actually had to re-edit some lines there. Like, Slim Pickens had a line in this movie where he said a fellow could have a pretty good weekend in Dallas with all that stuff, and then they changed it to Vegas. And the assassination was also a reason why the pie fight scene in the movie that was cut ended up getting cut. There was a scene where one of the guys takes the pie in the face, and they said that there's a scene where they go, "Gentlemen, our gallant young president has been struck down in his prime." And actually, no, that was one of the generals who was working for the president at the time. And so they basically cut that part out before preview night. I'm basically reading it off of here so I can say it to you without giving you wrong information. But yeah, I believe it was one of the generals for Kennedy at the time that said, "Our president has been struck down in his prime," and said that the film would have stayed, except that Columbia Pictures was horrified and thought it would offend the president's family, which they were kind of right on that. But I mean, I've seen the scene; it's fine for what it is. But honestly, I think the ending of this movie, the original, is the way it is in the film, works a whole lot better. And really, there's nothing really more I can say about it. This movie is just great fun. So yeah, Dr. Strangelove.
Come in, Mark. Hi, Mark. Sit down, son.
I need a lawyer
What for?
to protect my rights.
You got nothing to hide. You don't need a lawyer.
Jerome Clifford wasn't really dead when you found him, was he, Mark?
We know you were in that car, Mark. You ever hear of obstruction of justice, Mark?
If I don't answer your questions, I could go to jail.
Maybe.
You're right. You do need a lawyer.
How many cases have you won?
More than I lost.
How much do you cost?
How much you got? Did you attempt to interrogate my client outside the presence of his mother?
No. No.
Definitely not.
I need a lawyer
What for?
to protect my rights.
You boys attempted to interrogate a child outside the presence of his mother without her consent. And if I need anything from you boys, like the truth, well, I expect to get it.
I want that kid in court and on the stand, manana. You hear what I'm telling you?
Then take him in jail.
Well done.
You get anywhere near my client again without my permission, I'm going to sue you and the FBI for civil rights violations.
You playing big league hardball here, Miss Love. We got to get our hands on that child before the mob does.
Why should he talk if we can't protect him?
You talk to the feds tomorrow, I'll kill you.
Have we played enough games here?
What did Roman tell you in that car?
A man lies dead by his own hand, yet this boy remains silent.
I wasn't in that car.
You and I both know he doesn't know anything.
We need to talk to this child.
We know more about your client's actions than you do.
Sometimes being strong means asking for help.
I don't know nothing.
You've got 3 to start telling me the truth.
I'm scared.
Here you have yet another really good movie based off of a John Grisham book. It started off with The Firm, and then The Pelican Brief, and now we have this movie. And for Joel Schumacher, it's one of his best films, honestly. It's a great legal thriller. Susan Sarandon and Tommy Lee Jones give these great performances. You got Brad Renfro in a really good role in this movie. And the court case is very interesting. The situation is very interesting. The dramatic elements work out very well. You do want to know how this is going to pan out in the end. Like, how is this going to turn out? And for anybody who's never read the book, like myself, finding out what it is at the end that eventually saves the day actually is kind of interesting. Like, it's something I didn't really expect to see in a movie like this. Like, it isn't necessarily a groundbreaking legal drama, but it's still a pretty damn good legal drama. I remember the previews for this as a kid, and those are those ones that just stick in my head for so many years. And long after that, I finally got to see the movie, and the movie definitely lived up to all that promise to it. It was a great film, great acting all around, great legal drama. Just a great film overall. I can't recommend this one enough. The Client, if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. So, with that said, let's move on to the next movie. And the next movie is Lassie.
Of all the creatures on this earth, there is one that has touched the hearts of children everywhere.
Lassie? Come on, Lassie. Wow. Is that our farm?
It's the story of a boy.
I don't want the kids to grow up in the city. You know, I'd like them to walk home at night and not worry about what's behind them.
Who locked away his feelings.
It's not like the city, you know. We're both going to be short on friends here.
And the dog.
That was totally awesome. I'm not kidding.
Who opened up his heart.
Hi. I'm glad we came here, Dad.
A father's struggle to succeed.
I pulled my kids out of school for this job.
And a family determined to save their home.
Honey, it's going to be fine.
Stop! Don't shoot! Hey, mister, that's my dog.
Tell your daddy Sam Garland said welcome.
Let's all make Matt real welcome. He didn't know anybody around here. What is it, girl?
From one of the most beloved tales of all time comes the year's most thrilling adventure.
Come on, you dog. Come on.
Paramount Pictures presents The Best Friend Man Ever Had. In a new movie every family can share.
I love you.
Lassie.
I mean, honestly, it's kind of hard not to fuck up Lassie, and, hey, at least Norm Michaels didn't do that. He was, of course, the producer on this movie. Of course, he's from Saturday Night Live. And the movie overall is very good. It's a solid film. It's not a great film. Like, it's not a classic film I can watch over and over again. But when I watched it, I'm glad I saw it. I'm glad I saw that there were some good moments to it. It definitely feels like a retelling of Lassie in a modern era, in a modern setting. Like, you have this character that's been around for so many years. How do you update this character while also keeping him mostly the same? Like, really, there's not really much you could do with him. He's a dog, but this dog that they have in this movie has a lot of personality to him, and he works very well with the cast they've got here. They've got a very good cast here that includes Helen Slater, John Tenney, Frederick Forrest, Richard Farnsworth, Michelle Williams, one of her early film roles, and it's a cute little film. It's a cute film. It doesn't do anything necessarily strong or groundbreaking overall, but it's a fun little family film. It's one that I'm glad I saw, but again, it's not one I'd watch on repeat over and over again, but like I said, I'm glad I saw it. So that's Lassie, and hey, I'd rather watch Lassie again than our last movie that we have here, and that is Rob Reiner's infamous North.
I control in this life is who our parents are. You dealt the hand, you're stuck with it.
Pants, that's what I know. I know pants. All kinds of pants. All kinds of pants.
Dad, let me tell you something. Mom?
It's not like baseball, where if you don't like the deal you have with one team, you can become a free agent and try to get a better deal with another team.
Free agency.
If you want my advice, go home, make up, and goodbye.
What a scoop! I could become a free agent, then going around offering his services as a devoted son to the highest bidding set of parents. I'm proud of you, kid. You got a lawyer?
Let's get cracking.
He is not physically in the arms of either his new parents or his original parents by noon on Labor Day. He will be remanded to an orphanage. And if any of you has ever seen the Little Rascals, you know that's no day at the beach.
So North was on his way to find the perfect parents.
Well, hey, howdy, North. I know what you're thinking. Big call, right? Everything I own's the biggest and the best. That's why we'd like you to become our son.
Here you go, North. Nice cup of hot cocoa. And to go with that, our state dish, Eskimo pie.
Hey, what do you know? The salmon are running.
Sure, living in Paris would be great. But there's always a hitch. Meanwhile, things were heating up at home.
Just because you were born 25 years before me doesn't make you smart. It doesn't make you right. It just makes you old.
Aren't I naughty?
It just makes you smell worse in the morning.
You realize North will never pull this off.
He's North. He can do anything.
His folks are gonna fight it.
Of course they are. They're not going to take this line down.
Hang in there, kid. You'll find what you're looking for.
Hey, it's you.
Trust me, I'm not me.
What are you? Some kind of guardian angel?
Basically.
I mean, how the hell does Rob Reiner, the man that gave us This Is Spinal Tap, Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, A Few Good Men, he makes all these great movies, he's got a great track record, and then this movie comes along. This movie is notorious for Roger Ebert saying that he hated this movie. Hated it, hated every simpering, stupid, vacant audience, insulting moment of it, hated the sensibility they thought that anyone would like it, hated the implied insult to the audience, the belief that anyone would be entertained by this. Basically, I just plagiarized what he said, but that's really how I feel about this movie. This is a movie that's so terrible on so many levels. You waste a great cast that includes so many names in here. I think it's one of the biggest all-star casts they've ever assembled here. You got Elijah Wood, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Jason Alexander, Bruce Willis, John Lovitz, Alan Arkin, Dan Aykroyd, Reba McEntire, Kelly McGillis, Graham Greene, Kathy Bates, Abe Vigoda, Faith Ford, John Ritter, Scarlett Johansson. You get the idea. This cast should have been more than enough to carry a movie over its obstacles, but nope. Not this film, and it gets worse and worse, and by worse I mean racist, because not in the saying of racist like calling a black person the N-word, no. This movie goes to the stupidest and downright offensive ways to get a cheap laugh. Every single parent that North comes across in this movie as replacements are all stereotypes, and not just stereotypes, really bad stereotypes. You've got Dan Aykroyd and Reba McEntire as the couple from Texas who wear nothing but cowboy boots and over-the-top colorful wardrobe because fuck it, they're in Texas, and their obese son died in the stampede. That's literally one of the jokes they have. And you got a couple in Hawaii who decide the best way to promote fertility in their town is to place the butt crack of this little boy. Like, there's a scene where they put up a billboard, and they put up a thing where North is completely naked, his butt is showing, and it's supposed to promote fertility in the town. Which, why would that do that? Like, oh, and it gets worse. There's a part where North goes to visit an Eskimo family in Alaska, and they live in igloos because they're Eskimos, and that's pretty much all we need to do about that. And let's put Kathy Bates in some, I don't want to say blackface, but let's make her look more like Graham Greene. And worst of all, the scene where Ava Goda is sent out to sea on an ice floe so that he may die with dignity. It's just like, what were they thinking when they made this movie? I mean, it just gets worse and worse with every single scene. I just don't get it. Like, Rob Reiner is such a top director, and you gotta figure, like, what was he thinking when he made this movie? I mean, the plot, I think, could work, but the fact that somebody with the caliber of Rob Reiner made this movie, a man who's been nominated for Academy Awards for directing and writing, that's the biggest flaw in the movie. There's so many elements in here that are there, but Reiner basically just said, fuck my credibility, I need to make one really terrible movie in my career, because evidently that's the law in Hollywood. You get to make one bad movie, and I guess that's something that every director does nowadays. So, North really is one of the biggest stumbles of all time. You got this great cast, this great director, a decent plot, all wasted on bad story development, huge continuity issues, just downright offensively bad comedy. You could say that most kids movies from your childhood hold up for nostalgia's sake, but trust me, this really is one of those movies that, regardless of how it gets, will never be remembered as anything but what it was. A steaming pile of shit. And the sad part is, I've met people who actually like this movie. I know friends of mine on Facebook and Twitter and through social media that have said, hey, maybe I was being too harsh on it. And I guess, hey, to each their own. You want to find something good about it, that's fine with me, but I'm sorry, man. North is just a stupid, stupid movie. It's a terrible movie. Just a mess on so many levels. One of the worst movies of all time. Definitely in my top 16 of my least favorite movies of all time. It's just horrible, horrible movie. horrible movie.
This is the story of Stanley Ipkiss.
Stanley, you are the nicest guy. Really, you are.
His job is at the bank.
You're 40 minutes late. Now, that's the same as stealing. I'm sorry, Mr. Dickey. It'll never happen again.
He loves his dog.
Come on, guilty. Drop it.
He's polite to his landlord.
Ipkiss, do you have any idea what time it is?
You know, Mrs. Penman?
What? Nothing.
And the most exciting thing in his life are his pajamas. But now...
Hey, you! What are you doing down there?
I'm just looking for my mask.
all that is about to change. Because Stanley Ipkiss is not the man he used to be.
Spoken! It's like it brings your innermost desires to life. You become some sort of a love-crazy wild man.
I want him here tomorrow, alive.
Now, you have to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Do you? Thanks.
Ace Ventura's Jim Carrey. Is The Mask.
Ooh, somebody stop me!
That's how you market a movie. Show the last film that he was in and just let the money roll in. And it's not a bad idea, because this movie actually turned out to be not only a big hit critically, but also financially. It's hard to believe this, but up to that point, this film was actually the most profitable film based on a comic up to that point, which is amazing to think about when you've had Superman the movie and Batman. This thing only cost about $20 million, which is unheard of for a movie like this, and it brought in over $350 million worldwide. And quite honestly, you can kind of see why. It still holds up over almost 30 years later, and yeah, for a movie that was featuring a rising star in Jim Carrey, this is a chance that he really got to show his ability as a leading actor. Like, he was not only is he great as The Mask, but you also like him as Stanley Ipkiss. Like, he has this great mash between this hapless guy who turns into this cartoonish character, and it meshes together very well. This is also notable as the first film starring Cameron Diaz, and for a first film, she's pretty good in the movie too. Like, she's not the typical damsel in distress. She plays her role very well. In fact, the movie plays with your expectations a lot throughout the course of the film, and the visuals for this movie surprisingly hold up for the most part. This movie has a lot of great visuals. Obviously, it's meant to be photorealistic, cartoonish effects, which it's hard to believe that over 30 years later, this stuff still holds up for a number of reasons. Like, this was right up there with this was nominated for an Oscar for Best Visual Effects, but lost, of course, to Forrest Gump, which, I don't know, as much as I like Forrest Gump and its effects, I would say this is probably better, but, yeah, for the most part, the movie still works pretty well. It works on a number of levels. There are a couple little nitpicky things here and there. Mostly the villain's kind of a lackluster villain. Like, he's playing it way too seriously, and I guess he realized that they weren't filming the actual comic book, because that's the funny thing about this movie. I bet a lot of people never realized when this movie came out that this was based on a much more serious comic book series. Not too serious, because of course the character still plays like the character in the movie, but obviously here there's more of an emphasis on the cartoonish aspect than the straight-up violent, over-the-top escapades in the comic books, which, I don't know, it would be kind of interesting to see them actually try to do that nowadays with movies now like Deadpool and Suicide Squad coming out, but, I don't know if we'll ever see that, but, hey, at least we still got a great movie out of The Mask, and yeah, it was coming at a time when Jim Carrey's star power just kept growing and growing and growing, and 1994, like I said before, was a very good year for him, and this is probably the best movie that came out of his in 94, so, I mean, I don't have any more to say about it. The Mask is just a fantastic film. If you haven't seen it by now, see it. You're doing yourself a huge disservice by not doing so. So anyway, with that said, let's move on to another movie, another comedy, this time Nicolas Cage and Bridget Fonda starring in It Could Happen to You.
Well, the lotto jackpot has grown to over $64 million.
It all started with a lottery ticket.
You got the numbers wrong!
Wrong? An honest cop. And a waitress.
Probably you've had good luck your entire life, which is the opposite of me.
In the middle of a very bad day.
Just don't have enough for a tip.
I'll live.
Lottery ticket? If this ticket wins, I'll come back tomorrow and split the proceeds. And if it doesn't, I'll still come back and leave you a tip. What do you think?
I think I'm never going to see you again.
What happened next?
64.
Was beyond their wildest dreams.
I've got something to tell you.
This is a story of money.
Why didn't you stop at half? Why didn't you just give her all the money? Would you get off my foot?
The things it can buy.
Just a quick stop at Tiffany's, darling, and I'll be born again.
And the one thing
You're doing great.
it can't.
Oh, no.
TriStar Pictures presents
It's nice to meet somebody who you can just talk with, you know, and hang.
This lottery thing, it's from one day to the next. It's like you become this other person.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just won the lottery, and tonight's ride home is on me and Missy Von Beyonce.
She'll put you in a straitjacket and take you to the loony bin.
Nicolas Cage.
It's like we're on two different channels now. I'm CNN. She's the Home Shopping Network.
Bridget Fonda.
It's like a fairy tale.
Rosie Perez.
Woman with the heart of gold.
It could happen to you.
This is probably one of the more underrated movies Nicolas Cage has ever done. I mean, this is a movie where he plays the nice guy in this to Bridget Fonda's character, who he basically tells her, "Hey, if I win the lottery, I'll come back and I'll give you I'll give you half the money that we receive from it." And turns out they win the lottery, and she ends up getting $2 million, and they kind of develop kind of a friendship together. And this is a nice little film. It's not a great film. It's not a film that really shatters expectations, all that, but I was pleasantly surprised when I saw it. I thought it was a nice little film. Like, Cage and Fonda definitely have some nice chemistry together. Even him and Rosie Perez really have some nice, good chemistry. You also have a really strong cast overall. You've got Wendell Pierce, Stanley Tucci, Red Buttons is in here, Seymour Cassell, Richard Jenkins, Emily Deschanel, one of her early film roles, Ann Dowd. Shockingly, this was actually narrated by Isaac Hayes, and actually he has a cameo as a role in this. Like, that was something that really took me off guard, that he plays kind of a more simpler role than what we're used to seeing from Isaac Hayes. But the movie overall is a ton of fun. I like that it does play with your expectations. It doesn't give you the typical rom-com ending that you think it's going to end up being. It actually does end up being something a lot different, but it is a very nice, solid little film. It's a nice little film that has a lot of good acting all around, some good moments of comedy, great actors working off of each other, and it is a nice little film. It's a really good film. I enjoyed it a lot. It could happen to you. Great, great film. So, with that said, let's move on to the next movie, and that is the family film Black Beauty.
Warner Brothers Family Entertainment invites you to share the joy and excitement of a special motion picture about a horse named Black Beauty. His remarkable magic changed the lives of all who knew him. And his incredible high-spirited adventures have become a favorite of children for generations. Black Beauty.
Again, kind of like It Could Happen to You, this is a nice little family film. More similar to something like The Secret Garden, which I think is something you can go back to. And interestingly enough, this director, Caroline Thompson, is a name you probably aren't too familiar with, but you have definitely seen her work before. She's worked on many movies. She's written Edward Scissorhands, The Addams Family, Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey, The Secret Garden, Nightmare Before Christmas. She wrote Corpse Bride. She wrote City of Ember. She's written some not-so-good movies like Welcome to Marwen and Buddy, which was another movie that she directed, which we'll get to later on. But this is the first movie she ever directed, and for a first-time directorial effort, It's not bad. I mean, it's a nice little family film. It kind of does what Lassie did the week before. It modernizes a classic story for a new generation. It is a nicely told story. It's got some great actors in here. Sean Bean's in here, David Thewlis. You have Alan Cumming playing the voice of Black Beauty, which is basically Alan Cumming narrating the entire story. And it is a nice little film. It doesn't do anything too spectacular. It's not anything too grand, but it works for what it is. I had a pretty good time watching it. And kind of got overlooked at the box office, but it has found this little nice following over the years. And rightfully so. It's a nice little film. I enjoyed it a lot. So that's Black Beauty. Let's move on to the last movie, and that is the latest film from Whit Stillman, and that is Barcelona.
What exactly are you doing here? I'm sort of an advance man for the Sixth Fleet. That's going to be really tough. It's an assignment that will require a lot of diplomacy and tact. I'm really surprised it gave to you.
You can't say Americans are not more violent than other people.
No.
All those people killed in shootings in America?
Oh, shootings. Yes, but that doesn't mean Americans are more violent than other people. We're just better shots.
I think it's true that the height of the sexual revolution is over. I don't go to bed with just anyone anymore. I have to be attracted to them sexually.
But I always thought that women had to have some kind of profound emotional bond with a man before they became interested in a relation of that kind.
Oh, no.
I don't think anti-Americanism is really all that significant a phenomenon. It's certainly nothing to take personally.
But you seem very intelligent for an American.
Well, I'm not. Have you ever heard of the Marquis de Sade? Ted's a great admirer of de Sade. You see that odd expression on his face? Under the apparently very normal clothes he's wearing are these narrow leather straps drawn taut so that when he dances...
What?
He's a complex and in some ways dangerous man. Just once I'd like to go out with a girl not convinced I'm encased in black leather underwear. That bothers you?
I feel like that guy could be played by Ryan Reynolds if they ever decide to remake this movie. I mean, he kind of sounds like Ryan Reynolds whenever he's talking these long bits of dialogue and all that. But this is Barcelona, the second film from Whit Stillman. The second film of his supposed Dune, Bouget's and Love series. Even though the three films are very much independent of each other, except for some cameos in the other movies. The first one, of course, I mentioned was Metropolitan, and the last one was The Last Days of Disco. Coincidentally, all three of them came out within a 4-year span period. But I've never seen this one before, so I can't really go into it too much, though. I have seen a couple of these Whit Stillman movies. I've seen Actually, I've only seen one, now I'm looking at it. The Last Days of Disco is the only one I ever saw, and I thought that movie was alright, but I've never seen these other movies, so I can't really delve into this director's work in the past, but I mean, it could be good. I mean, I've seen some good things about it, and I mean, it looks kind of alright for what it is, so that's pretty much all I got for you on that one. That's Barcelona.